I think it said it's recording.
I'm
It kind of
I'm
broke
sorry.
up.
I was on mute. Yes, we can begin.
All right, thanks. Well, I heard the recording thing start, but then it kind of broke up, so I wasn't sure if we were functional. Thank you so much.
You're
All
welcome.
right, I'd like to welcome you to the October meeting of the Washington State Human Rights Commission. I am Chair Cook, and could we have the roll call, please?
Yes. Chair Deborah Cook,
Present.
Commissioner James Moore,
Present.
Commissioner Jeff Spey,
Good morning, President.
Commissioner Guadalupe Gamboa, Executive Director Sharon Ortiz,
Present.
Deputy Director Cheryl Strobert,
Present.
Assistant Attorney General Sharon James.
Present.
Is anyone else on the call?
This is Kristen Lamson. I'm also an Assistant Attorney General.
Thank you. Anyone else? We can begin.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, and welcome to our additional Assistant Attorney General. Appreciate having you here with us today. All right, let's continue on. So the next item on our agenda is approval of the minutes for September 23rd. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? And if there are none, I would accept a motion to approve them as submitted.
This is Jeff Spey. So moved.
Okay,
Jim Moore, second.
thank you very much. All in favor of accepting the minutes as submitted, please say aye.
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 And any opposed? And any opposed? I think since it was unanimous, we probably couldn't have any opposed. Very good. Thank you so much. And the minutes, as always, were great. All right. The next item on the agenda is case closures. And at least as of my check near the end of yesterday, we had no cases that were withdrawn by staff. That's great. I think that I was just thinking about the amazingly improved case closure process that has occurred over the last number of months. And I'm really appreciative of that. Is there any discussion of the cases? And if not, I would accept a motion to approve the cases as submitted.
This is Jeff Spey. So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. All right, all in favor of accepting the cases as submitted? Aye.
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 And any opposed? All righty, thank you. All right. So that brings us down to Executive Director reporting from Sharon.
I'm going to make it brief this morning and just touch on the highlights, but good morning, commissioners. The biggest thing on our plate lately has been the vaccine mandate and the people wanting to file complaints. And we've met with the AG's office and determined it's a direct conflict of interest for us to take those complaints. We're under the same mandate and the governor appoints you all. And so we are not taking them. We are providing people with referrals back to their unions, to legal aid, and the EEOC. The EEOC does not agree with us not taking those cases, but we feel like we're on pretty solid ground. And we did meet with the EEOC, and Colleen Melody led the phone call. And so we haven't heard anything back from them, but they still do not agree with us. So I'll keep you posted on that. But the governor's office believes that it makes sense. So, and of course I notified them. We've also been getting just overwhelmed in intake with these calls. So In the month of October, we had 184 people call us over the vaccine mandate. And when it was broke down to what were actual mandate cases, there were 77 from state agencies, 5 from colleges, 10 from local government, 3 from schools, 29 in medical. They were almost all based on religious exemptions. There were 138 religious exemptions, 26 disability, and 22 others. So it does appear to be slowing down because John, our data person, has been providing me with data on a daily basis, which has been very helpful. So with that being said, we also lost 1 employee due to the mandate as one of our senior investigators. We, on a positive note, just started our partnership grant with Northwest Fair Housing Alliance and the Fair Housing Center of Washington. And it's kind of a fun grant this time because it involves testing, but they're also creating radio PSAs for us, and they'll be paid for under the grant. And I have to thank Cheryl because she's handled all the financial drawdowns and transactions on it, and Debbie's been paying the invoices, so that's really appreciated. I don't know if I told you last month, but we did make our EEOC contract. Our next task is, though, we have a RFI from them, so that's a year where we have to provide them lots of different information. Another positive thing is that Ramon Alvarez has returned to our agency to work on the backlog, and he's hit the ground running and is already working on cases as we speak.
Sharon, sorry to interrupt. This is Jeff Spade. I have a question. When you say we've met our EEOC, sorry, now I forgot what you said. It's too early to having a coffee. What did you mean? We've met our terms, we've met our contract. What does that mean?
Well, the federal fiscal year goes from September 31st or 30th, I can't remember, to, and it starts again October 1st. So every year, the EEOC is different than HUD. HUD lets us close on limited amount of cases, and the more we close, the more incentive they give us. The EEOC, though, gives us a number of cases we have to close to make a contract with them, and those are cases that are filed with us, but we're able to dual file with the EEOC. So that means that we closed, I think it was 325, correct me if I'm wrong, Cheryl, probably it's 325 plus EEOC cases. That means they had 15 or more employees, and we were able, and the jurisdiction matched, and we were able to dual file that many cases. So it's a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Well, when we tell you we made, pardon me?
Hello?
Yes.
Who's speaking, please?
Oh, this is Marguerite Richard.
Okay, so
who's speaking, please? Oh, go ahead, Sharon. Go ahead.
I think there's a guest on.
Yes, has someone joined us?
Yes, I said my name was Marguerite Richard.
Okay, we didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm
all right. So
I'm gonna take you off a speaker, then maybe that's the problem.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, we're not taking public comment right now, so you will be able to listen, and we'll let you know when we're taking public comment.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. All right, go ahead, Sharon. I'm sorry.
Okay, so so Ramon has hit the ground running. He's a really sharp investigator. He used to work for us, but Warren might know him. He lives in Spokane. Then I supervised intake while Jerry was in Africa this month, so that was very interesting, and especially during this period where we had all the mandate cases coming through. And then on a note in your cases this month, I wanted to point out that after a conversation with Colleen Melody, we transferred a case called Dunaway v. Veterans Warehouse to the AG's office so that they could conduct the investigation, because we believe there could be multiple victims in this case, and the respondent has a history of sexual harassment where he's even been arrested. So Colleen agreed to take the case, and we're always very happy because they do such a great job. And that's about all I have to report right now.
Okay. So this is Commissioner Cook, and one of the questions that I guess I would have is back on the discussion of the EEOC. If they do not agree, ultimately do not agree, will this change our contract?
Well, I can't say for sure. They haven't gotten back to us. I think that they probably need us to do this. And again, with the support of Colleen at the Civil Rights Unit, I think we're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we did send a letter.
Yes,
Colleen and Brian Sutherland from the Civil Rights Unit helped write the letter, and we sent it to headquarters explaining why we can't take these cases. Right. So hopefully it's just going to resolve itself. So yeah, but we'll definitely keep you posted.
I would think this would be going on in other states as well, where similar situations are arising. But
yeah, we believe that too.
This is Jeff Spey. A follow-up question in regards to that transfer of the cases. Has there been any substantive or worrisome pushback that we need to be worried about?
From the EEOC?
Yeah.
Well, from our local person, but we haven't heard back from headquarters. They don't think we can do this. We both interpret the work share agreement differently. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I trust Colleen, and I feel like we're on solid ground.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
In the event that they do decline those cases and we do have to take them up on our own, do we have to create any different procedures or new rules on how to handle these types of complaints, given that they are novel issues involving something that's very unique?
Well, should we not have if we wouldn't have a contract with the EEOC, we would refer the bigger employers to EEOC, and we would take the 8. Right. And when it comes down to it, it costs us a lot more than that to investigate a case than what EEOC pays us in the dual filing. And so I don't believe anything is going to happen with the EEOC, and we can always walk this back if we have to.
Sure.
But like I said, I'm working with our attorneys and keeping the governor's office informed, and you all informed as well. So I believe I sent you all a copy of the letter that went to the EEOC.
Yes.
So Cheryl, did you have something to add to that?
No, I think that if for some reason unusual that we end up with the cases, they would be handled like any other case that we had. But, I think we're standing on firm ground. I think it's true that other agencies in the country are having similar kinds of discussions. And I guess we'll just wait to see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much. Any additional questions for Sharon? Okay, and then we will move on to the Executive Director recruitment process. And we have a little housekeeping to do here for this. First of all, we did send out to all the commissioners when we released the announcement. You already did receive the job description, et cetera, but we need to actually, as a commission, ratify the job description and verify that we are in support of it. We used the existing job description pretty much entirely actually to achieve the job description that has been submitted, but we just do need to, for clarity and for the records, we need to ratify that, the description. So I would need a motion to approve the job description as submitted for the executive director position.
This is Jeff Spay, so moved.
Moore seconded.
All right, thank you very much. Is there any discussion? We have been advertising it, and I wouldn't foresee that we would want to make any changes at this stage, so, but I would entertain discussion. Hearing none, then I would call for that. So all in favor of the ratifying the job description that was submitted and has been posted, please say aye.
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 And any opposed? All right, thank you. Now, the other thing that we need to do is we have received 3 applications. We do know that there are, and the job description and the announcement officially closed. I think it was on Monday. We have received 3 applications. We actually know that there are at least one additional application out there in process, and Sharon and I have talked about the fact that we would like to have a little larger pool, if we can, to recruit from, including the person who we know has applied and we have not received it yet for whatever reason, and we're looking into that. But we would like to extend the job announcement for at least a couple weeks, and is that the amount of time? I can't remember, Sharon. What did we say about that? The amount of time?
It was closing November 9th.
Okay, yes. So, all right. So we would like to extend the announcement a little longer. We recognize, or I recognize, that this basically makes our time a little tighter, but Sharon has expressed a willingness to extend her time to change her retirement slightly if need be, so that we can still complete the process, and including onboarding the person and all the things that we would need to do. So if necessary, she's willing to go a little longer with us, and we appreciate that. But I would really like to see if we can get a few more people, and this would mean another real push. But for us to extend the date to November 9th, the commissioners would need to also approve that. So is there a motion to extend the job announcement through that date?
This is Commissioner Moore, so moved.
Okay.
Jeff Spay here, second.
Thank you. Okay, very much. Now, is there any discussion of the proposal? Okay, hearing none, then I'm going to ask all those in favor of extending the job announcement through November 9th, signify by saying aye.
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 And any opposed? I actually didn't hear any vote. Did people respond? I don't know whether my phone is cutting out or.
Yeah, we both responded aye.
I still am not hearing.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, now I hear you. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should we vote again?
Yes, please, because I did not hear anybody. And like I said, I may be cutting out. So all in favor of extending the date to November 9th, please say aye.
Aye.
Jeff Spay, aye.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. And any opposed? All right, thank you. Sorry about that. I'm on the phone, and sometimes the phone is not super reliable. Okay, so then basically the process that we will go through once we are moving forward is that we will have all of the commissioners review the applications. There will undoubtedly not be a lot of applications, but we're hoping there's more than this. And then we will, when we meet, we will open a public meeting, but move into executive session so we can have some discussion of the applications and the rest of that process. And then when we come into the public meeting, we can take any votes. So what this means, though, is that our next meeting or next couple of meetings, unfortunately during the holidays, may be a little bit longer or than usual because of the need for the executive session. So I just want to point that out. And if we need to do so, we could call a special meeting for the purpose of this, as long as we call it as a public meeting, and then could go into executive session to review the application. So at this time, I'm kind of trying to make it work that we would use the schedule we already have, but should we find that there are a lot of them, or should we find that there's some other complication, we will move accordingly. But we want to make this as public a process as we can. And so that's how we will basically, I think, proceed. All right. Is there any other discussion or questions or anything on the topic of the recruitment?
This is Sharon. If y'all could share that link I sent you the new link last night as wide as you can, because I was kind of sad that only 3 people applied for my job. So I'd like to get a bigger pool of applicants for y'all.
Yeah, it's really important that we share it out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So the next item is commissioner reporting. I'll start with me because I actually have some. So I met with the Washington Council of the Blind Government Affairs Committee. I've actually met with them twice since our last meeting. The first time was they met with the Office of Equity. Is that what it's called? I think. Anyway, it's a new small agency that is actually pretty much, I think, working on racial and ethnicity issues of equity in state government, but supposedly can also work on some other issues. And so they had a preliminary meeting with the director of that office to talk about whether that office would help them with their interest in accessible prescription labeling. And I went to that meeting. It's probably not a particularly viable relationship for them just because of sort of the specific role that the Office of Equity has. But they did have that meeting. And then they met with me specifically to find out whether the Human Rights Commission could assist them in their process and their endeavor. And so I explained a little bit about our rulemaking process, and I explained that we thought there was, at the time that we had this discussion, which was actually with different commissioners than we have now for the most part, but at the time we had explored that there might be a connection to RCW 4960 in terms of effective communication and that sort of thing. So we had some discussion about that, and they would be very interested in figuring out whether we would still have an interest in doing anything with that, with them, or helping them in some way to move that issue forward. I'm inclined to think that it's something that needs to wait for our consideration until we actually have a new director on board, and they and we are able to sort out our priorities and what we're able to engage in for public things. But I still think that the connection would exist and that we could pursue it, but it seems like not the greatest timing for us to actually take it on right now. Although my other inclination is that if we could take it on right now while Sharon's still with us, since she really understands the issue, that would be great too. But we have a lot kind of coming down with some pretty major staff changes. So I told them that I would be glad to personally sort of help work with them around that issue, just in terms of my own personal interest, but that I was reluctant to commit us too much until we establish our new director. Are there other commissioner activities to report?
Commissioner Moore, I do not have any.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. All right. So it's time for the AG update. So Sharon.
Yeah, I have a couple things this time. First of all, Kristen Lamson, you'll notice, has joined us today, and Kristen has joined our small advice section in the AG's office. We've had a lot more. Our workload has increased during COVID especially, and the legislature, as you probably are aware, continues to create new agencies that most of them end up coming to our little division, and because we're sort of a catch-all unit. And so everyone's workload has increased quite a bit, and we've had a need to add another attorney. And so so there used to be 5 of us in our small little section. Now there are 6 with the addition of Kristen. Kristen has, I believe, 20 years of experience as an attorney. She comes to us from the city of Seattle. I think civil division. She can explain that a little bit more. What is going to happen is Kristen is eventually going to transition to be your primary advice AAG, and I will be backup to her, but I believe that's probably going to happen in January. And in the meantime, she'll be in the background just getting up to speed. She's got a ton of clients that she has been given, and so this will give her some time to get to know all of those clients, and then we'll probably make the transition in January is what I'm hearing. And I did have one thing to report as well, but I'll give Kristen a minute to introduce herself.
Sure. Thank you, Sharon. Good morning, everyone. Again, I'm Kristen Lamson, and I have been with the Attorney General's office for just 1 month. And I am coming from 20 years of public sector attorney experience and over 30 years of being in public service. And most recently, I've spent 15 years as an assistant city attorney with the city of Seattle, also being somewhat generalist and working a lot with general government issues, utility issues, contracts, and a lot of interagency work. So I'm looking forward to meeting you all and learning more about what the Commission's working on and being challenged by, and looking forward to working with you in the future. So thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Kristen. And I did reach out to Colleen Melody to see if her division, the Civil Rights Division, as you know, they do your enforcement work, and to see if they had any reporting. They did want to. You may have heard about this before, but just wanted to close the loop on this one. In August, they settled a case out of Cowlitz County involving a landlord who failed to offer a prospective tenant a reasonable accommodation for her emotional support animal. That person apparently visited the landlord's property. The landlord expressed interest in renting to her until the tenant or prospective tenant said something about her emotional support animal to mitigate a disability. The landlord then refused to rent and even said some disparaging things about her and people who need emotional support animals in general. And so she filed the complaint with the commission. There was a reasonable cause finding that was entered earlier this year. And the tenant elected, because this is allowed under your statute, instead of going through the administrative process, I'm elected to take it straight to Superior Court in Cowlitz County. But they were able at that point to negotiate with the landlord who had, prior to that, failed to conciliate this matter. The commission and the landlord did enter into a consent decree that includes a lot of things like, it can't fail to provide reasonable accommodation. She can't advertise or rental properties that in a way that indicates any discrimination. This property had been advertised as no pets, and so I'm guessing that she'll probably need to. This landlord will need to put something in there about. She has to implement a non-discrimination and reasonable accommodation policy, notify any current tenants of that policy in case she's been discriminating against them in the past, and attach a non-discrimination notice to her rental applications and complete fair housing training. The tenant was pleased with this result so that, because this will ensure that the landlord does not discriminate against tenants in the future. So a happy ending on that case. And that's all I have.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Are there any questions? Okay. Hearing none. Thank you so much for that update. That's great. And welcome, Kristen, to our commission. All right. We are now down to public comment. If any members of the public have a comment to make before the commission, this is the time to do so.
Yes, I'm on the phone. This is Miss Richard, Marguerite Richard. I'm calling from Seattle, Washington. And my concern is that I put in a complaint and it's being investigated. But what I have a concern about is that I wrote Miss Ortiz, and I didn't receive any response back. And I'm concerned, and I'm always going to be concerned about how we're dealt with. I'm an indigenous black female, and it seems to not matter. But our life matters before you get into this Black Lives Matter stuff. But I guess they could categorize me in that position. And so I'm saying to you that I've already experienced abuse of power, emotional distress, because I've gone the gamut. I probably broke the Guinness Book of Records for filing multiple housing complaints up under the Fair Housing Act. And I noticed that the city's contract was lifted from them and it was placed in your hands. So I've already familiarized myself with the legal aspect of what I'm going through again. And to me, all of this generational poverty and community trauma is the reason behind what we continuously have to go through in the 21st century. I'm not talking about the 1900s, but I'm talking about the legacy of what's going on right now in Olympia, and then how I'm being treated. I even was told by the customer service line, this woman, is their name Merica or something, that I was attacking her. How can I attack her and I'm just talking to her, but you can't relate to me because of my voice? and I'm not threatening you? What is this? And the other thing that I have done, I've contacted the AG office. I can't remember her name. She was very kind to me. She said, "Oh, well, you can testify before the commission." So, or the commissioners. So I'm saying to you that it's a waiting process, but how much longer are we going to have to wait? I'm just asking that simple question because I know everything's a process, but I have too much history. I have too much evidence about the abuse that I've gone through. And so now we're going to determine whether or not Black life matters. Indigenous Black life matters. Because I have too much evidence, and right now, because I fall up under federal guises, these people here, because they've been injurious to the point that it could have caused me a death sentence. Under the federal law, it says, you go to prison, bad boy. So now I'm asking what you're going to do when they come for you, just like they do on cops. Because it's an illegal act to injure a handicapped or disabled person, and they find that you have done that. $10,000 to $250,000 fine with supervisory release. That means, well, if you go to prison for life, then don't look like you're going to get released from nothing, huh? So that's
Okay,
why
ma'am, I'm going to ask you to wrap up your comments, please. Thank you.
Yeah. I
Okay.
just wanted to
We
get my
appreciate
point
your
across.
comments. Sure. Yes. Thank you very much for taking the time to express your opinion and your concern. And we can't discuss we can't actually discuss the facts of any particular case in a public meeting. So I can't address your specific concerns about your response, but we'll certainly take your comments into consideration. And I thank you so much for expressing your concern, because it's important to be able to do that. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. Is there any other public? Yeah, good. Thank you. Okay. Is there any other additional? Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Is there any other additional public comment for today? Hearing none, then we will adjourn the meeting. Our next meeting is a change of date. So our next meeting is scheduled for November 18th, back at our normal time at 9:30. So this meeting is now adjourned, and I thank you all very much.